Hello, my name is Julie and this is Stamp with Julie Baum. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and I'm here today on my series, Simply Saturday, to show you a card that is fast and easy to make. We're going to be using this Perennial Lavender Designer Series paper, which is just beautiful in its many shades of purples. And we're also going to be using a couple of stamps from this stamp set, which I have been reaching for quite a bit, Wildflower Designs. So let me show you what you're going to need. I'm beginning with a cardstock base that is Gorgeous Grape. And so this piece is 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. And instead of our card opening and closing this way, we're gonna turn it so that it opens and closes this way. So I've made a score line at 4.25, and we'll go ahead and just reinforce that fold with my bone folder. Then I have a piece of basic white cardstock. This is the same as Julie's layering template number 2, which is 4 inches by 5.25 inches. Then we have our designer series paper. So what I did is I chose this print, and then I wanted another print that is very subtle. And so this print is also super cute. I chose the back side of that one, which is kind of just a tone on tone, very subtle but pretty paper. All right, so this piece measures 3 7/8 inches by 4 inches, and this one is 1 3/4 inches by 4 inches. The first thing that we're going to do is attach those to the card front. All right, now I am going to overlap these slightly. And so the more narrow one is going to go on the left, and then the larger piece is going to go on the right. I think I'm going to have it tucked right behind that first paper so that I don't lose any of that. It's already narrow. I don't want to lose any by overlapping it, so I'm going to have it overlap this way. So I'm going to put this one down first, and I'm going to scoot it way over towards the right edge, but not quite to the edge of the cardstock. So I am leaving a little bit of a border. Actually, it's going to be about the same, as I'm eyeballing it, as the bottom and top border. So you can see I'm leaving that little, about 1/8 of an inch. And then we'll lay that down. All right, next we'll put this one, and it's going to overlap onto this printed one a little bit. I feel like it's easier to have it overlap a teeny bit than to have the two pieces have to come together perfectly. Sometimes it just doesn't look so good with that seam of the papers coming together. So if it just overlaps a tiny bit, it makes it a little bit easier to do, and it ends up looking really good. So we're going to do that. All right, so my top, bottom, and left margin are going to be about the same as that 1/8-ish inch. And then it's going to overlap onto my printed paper, the other print. Whoop, I slid it like so. Okay, there's the front of the card. Now, what I've done is I took Lost Lagoon, which actually is a paper that is a color that's represented in this paper. It's quite subtle on this particular print, but it is there, and I feel like it just kind of pulled that out. So it would have been easy to grab Blackberry Bliss or Fresh Freesia for this one, but I did want it to stand out a little bit more. So I chose to use Lost Lagoon. And then I've got a white, and these are cut out with these two dies from the Nested Essentials set of dies. All right, here's the two larger ones. We're using these next two sized down ones. So there's that one and this one. On this, I'm going to do my stamping. So I've pulled this nice long stamp, and I'm going to use Blackberry Bliss ink, and I'm going to stamp right across the shape. And it is going to go all the way across. I don't think it's going to stick out past the edges, but I'll pop a piece of scratch paper underneath just in case, so that I don't have to clean ink off of my glass mat. All right, so we'll just put it like that, ink this up. And, oh yeah, it's not going to hang off. And I'm aiming right for the middle. I like it. It totally fills this shape. Like so. Okay, let's attach that to that Lost Lagoon piece. And then we'll add some embellishments to finish it off. All right, so this makes it pretty easy to line up because I'm using this point and this point to line up with those points. And it looks nice and centered. Wow, that really comes together well. What a great set of shapes that is. Okay, so I know that this is going to go onto my card about here. And I pulled out some retired ribbon. I was mentioning last week that often I end up with lots of trim and ribbon and sometimes embellishments that are left over. They've retired, but I still have them in stock. So I'll reach for those kind of things when I'm creating and see what might match based on the project that I'm doing. So this is actually retired Orchid Oasis, and it was that real glimmery, shimmery trim, like really, really nice. It's about 1/8 of an inch and very soft. So I'm gonna pull this out. I think we'll try a bow. So before I glue that on, let's fiddle with this for a moment. I'm trying to decide as I'm trying out my bow if I'm gonna just leave it single ply like this, or if I'm gonna put 2 strands together and make it a little bit thicker. Let's see what one looks like, and then we'll decide. All right, so I'm just fiddling with the loops and the tails to get it about the size that I want it. All right, that gives us an idea. I think the card is delicate enough that just the single ply is going to be fine. So let me go ahead and cut this off of the spool, and we'll attach our words onto the front of the card. I was going to glue, but I think we'll use some dimensionals. The card is still quite flat at this point. It doesn't have a lot of thickness, so it won't hurt at all to use a couple of dimensionals and pop up our greeting. All right, I'm tossing those backings into the wastebasket here right at my desk. And then this is sticky and ready to go. All right, I don't want it too far left. I think that looks good. I am paying attention to this straight edge to see if it's relatively lined up and straight with that, because I don't want my greeting to look crooked once it's all said and done. And take a peek, that looks good. Okay, let's take this bow, clean up the little ends, and reach for a glue dot. Now, these are famous for fraying, so that's okay. I've got it the length that I want. The ends are probably going to fray a little bit on their own, and that's totally fine. Kind of adds to the look of the card anyhow. All right, only because this is a little bit tiny and kind of hard to keep picking up and down, I'm going to pull my glue dot like this using my Take Your Pick tool, okay, and place it where I want it on the card, and then stick my bow into that glue dot like so. I really like how that glimmery ribbon looks against that paper. Okay, let's do the inside of the card and we can wrap this up. I'm going to use that little sticky part of my Post-it to pick up these little ribbon ends. That worked pretty well. Cleaning up my space. All right, let's put some stamps on here. I have this little background stamp and Fresh Freesia ink that I'm hoping this looks good. I haven't done this before, but I'm just going to take this. I think I need it stamped off so that it's not so dark. And I'm just going to put kind of a little collage of this background. I'm going to do 5 of them. Like that. And then I'm going to take the flower from that stamp set. And I wasn't sure what color ink was on that. And using Blackberry Bliss. Let's see what Blackberry Bliss looks like stamped off. There's first generation. Stamped off is going to be the, I think that is too close to that color. So I'm going to go ahead and use it full strength. And let's put a couple of those on here. All right, I like it. I almost think it needs one more of these. So even though I did a odd number, which is usually a good rule of thumb, I think I needed to stretch that out a little bit more. What do you think? All right, I'm kind of stamping into the evening here, so sorry folks, I have got shadows, but we're just about done. So let's glue this to the inside of the card. And I want to mention that if you liked these colors and this paper, Perennial Lavender, I have another video that I am going to post here for you using this paper. And it's actually the first time that I have done the panoramic style card. I had never done one before, and then I did one using this paper and it turned out really pretty. So I'm gonna link that video here for you, and you can pop over and check out that video. In the video, I'm gonna show you how to make the panoramic card with different paper, but I will show you the completed one, the first one that I did, that uses this paper. So be sure and zip over to that video and watch that one as well. All right, so there we have it with our Fresh Freesia, Blackberry Bliss, a little bit of Retired Orchid Oasis, Grape, and Lost Lagoon, a card that came together very quickly and looks very nice. And there we have it. Thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate you. And until next time, happy stamping.